Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Winter is Blooming, a Game of Thrones rewatch podcast by us, the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue Season 7 with Episode 2, titled Stormborn. It was directed by Mark Mylod and written by Brian Cogman, the Cogman. So, nice little switch up from last episode, and I think we found the reason. I'm Colton Robertson, I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here, and I think you're totally right on this one. Was it written by D&D last time?
Nope. Oh, yes. Last week was D&D.
Okay.
Last week was the D&D special. You know, we were going back and forth last night upon watching. We were like, damn, this one's a lot better than last week. What's the what happened? What was the missing sauce? It was Brian fucking Cogman, baby. That was the missing sauce.
Man. The Cogman. Maybe they were like, all right, Premiere, we're getting stuff started. We'll give it to you, D&D. Just do whatever you want. Kind of.
Well, it's not even like we'll give it to you, D&D. It's like, well, we'll take this because it's like it's up to them. Yeah, you know.
But then they were like, first one didn't really go too hot. Let's give it back to a guy who knows what the fuck he's doing. The Cogman, he's very consistent.
Let's see.
I think we've only had like one episode from the Cogman that we were kind of like, oh, well, for him, that wasn't even really that good. But then through talking through it, we were like, oh, no, actually,
that was an underrated one, you know?
So, yeah.
This one is one of the exceptions on the season. Most of it is written by D&D, save for 2 episodes. And those episodes are episode 5 and this one, episode 2. The rest of the season is D&D. We got some stuff to look forward to for sure. This one was a goodie. I enjoyed it a great deal. It was a much bigger, better step in season 7 so far.
Oh yeah, I mean we got an underrated action sequence that, like, when I think of all of the crazy action sequences of the show, I never think of this, Euron versus Yara and Theon, like the Iron Fleet versus the Iron Fleet,
right?
Basically here, and I don't know, I will remember it from now on because damn, it was
impressive.
It was quite awesome. Yeah, that had and then some, I don't know, just really, really nice scenes as well. Just very
emotionally fulfilling. I wouldn't say emotionally riveting, but a bunch of stuff that makes me feel a lot, and it's mostly just character work. It's mostly just small things that the characters do, small things, the small choices the actors make, and stuff like that end up making me feel even more deeply. So I'm happy with this one. And if you are ready, we can go ahead and get it popping up in Dragonstone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's get it going.
Let's do it. So, we emerge at Dragonstone during a thunderstorm, and Tyrion, Varys, and Daenerys are talking about the circumstances of her birth due to the storm and the reminiscence. And Varys informs Daenerys that he recalls that storm. He remembers that night. And Daenerys is like, "Oh, you remember quite a lot, don't you?" Basically. But
she's like, "I wish I could."
Yeah,
I think she was like, maybe she threw that in there. But you were totally right about her being like, "Yeah, I remember nothing about my home at all."
Oh yeah, she was like, "I thought it would feel like home, and it doesn't." And that's like literally all she says, and then that's it. And I was like, "Oh, she does say something about it." I thought it was later too. Like I thought it was when shit's falling apart for her. I thought it was when like Jon is being heralded and she's feeling neglected because she's every bit as responsible as he is for everything happening. And she's like, I don't feel the love. I thought that's when but no, we kick off this episode and she's like, doesn't feel like home. This isn't what I thought it'd be.
And
I'm like, oh, okay. And you feel that Emilia Clarke is icy. She is cold to start this season. It's
very
impressive.
different. Very, very different. Yeah, I think we were kind of talking through it, and I think she came home expecting something a lot grander. Maybe, I mean, I guess she knew the castle would be abandoned and everything, but I don't know. She's expecting very, very big things, and
she's been given reality checks by a few people over the course of the show that are like, I can't remember who said it to her before, but like, she was under the impression for a long time that her return would be celebrated. That the people of King's Landing and the people of the Seven Kingdoms want her back. They want the Targaryens to return and to be greeted with no ceremony, nothing at all. You just go to this, in fact, the opposite of ceremony. You have to do everything to build this place up yourself.
Yeah, and surrounded by people that, like, you know, they're all, I guess, Missandei is probably her closest friend, and like he did name her the Hand, but like it is a Lannister, and like, you know, for all these people from Westeros and all this stuff, like there's no one that feels like family to her. I'd say Missandei is the closest thing to family that she has, but it's really just a good friend.
And that's why, like, I think that I was watching this and I was like, oh, the shift in demeanor from specifically the season 6 finale, when she's talking to Tyrion, you know, like, I know she says the stuff about Dario and she's like, and I didn't feel a thing, you know, like that was a man I thought I loved and I didn't feel, and that's certainly something. I think that's a step on this journey to where she's at, but I think it's more than anything because all that matters is the mission. All that matters is reaching that goal. And so that's why it didn't hurt so much to let Dario go. But then that scene with Tyrion, whenever she's like, I name you Hand of the Queen, you know, and she's excited. She's happy, like they're doing this thing. Let's fucking go. So when they get here and it's like, okay, yeah, you know, like it's just a little bit of a letdown to a degree. But you know, Varys informs Daenerys that Cersei's position as Queen of Westeros is quite tenuous at this time. And you know, Daenerys is like, well, you know, if Stannis had the fleet that I have and had 3 dragons and everything that I am, he would have already invaded King's Landing. And Tyrion's like, yes, but you're not here to be Queen of the Ashes. And she pauses. No, I'm not.
No. Yeah, okay. Not an immediate no. You know, she had to think
definitely a little bit like well, you know, I wouldn't mind that. You know, like, I mean, it would still make me queen. Obviously, I'd prefer to have subjects, but you know,
she has a goal in mind.
Obviously, the benefit of hindsight is a little 2020, and we've been talking this entire fucking rewatch about how it's not so surprising that she ends up taking it there. It has never been less surprising that she ends up taking it there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, even before, I mean, she's like, oh, well, like to Tyrion, she's like, oh, yeah, I already have a plan. I will go and I will burn them all. It is as simple as that. And Tyrion's like, you know, maybe let's think about it. I don't know. That's kind of what the Mad King would do, you know, and
and Tyrion, like, even in this scene, he's like, well, you know, tens of thousands would die. So maybe that's not the move. It's a fascinating. There's a degree to which she snaps that I'm excited to see if I still find it quite founded. But the fact that she does end up doing that isn't so surprising. It's mostly the fallout of it whenever she's like, and we're going to do this everywhere. You know? We're gonna conquer the fucking world this way. And it's like, oh okay.
If you are trying to conquer the world, you got to have some sort of god complex. You got to think. I mean, even if she does kind of, you know, think she's doing the right thing and all this, and you know, I like this conversation with Varys here, like how Daenerys does kind of challenge him and be like, your loyalty, you just kind of serve whatever is best for you.
You served my father, didn't you? I did, Your Grace. Then you served his successor. Yeah, I kind of had to, or else I was going to die. But yeah, that was the idea. He definitely seemed like an improvement, but he didn't want to be king. He didn't have any interest in it. And, he begins to confront him about his role in hiring assassins to target her, and Varys reminds her that his choices were limited to either feigning continuing loyalty to Robert by arranging the assassination or refusing it and losing his head. So he's like, I do what's best for me, but I don't just do what's best for me. I know that by doing what's best for me, I have the ability to keep doing what's best for the people. Like that's his attitude about it.
That was his depending on who he's talking to, these words could very well be like, okay, yeah, then I'm going to kill you. You're not going to be my advisor. If he talks to the Mad King this way and says, no, I serve the people. If you want blind allegiance, sorry, you're looking at the wrong person. A lot of people would just probably be like, all right, see you later.
Good enough. But, deuces.
I think Dany was kind of like, you're being very honest, like this is who you are.
And she uses that, she's like, and if that's who you are, if you're going to be honest, if you see me going that way, don't conspire behind my back.
Yeah.
Tell me to my face. Tell me you think I'm losing it, that we're going the wrong way. But if you do betray me, sure, I will burn you alive.
Oh, okay. That's a little Mad King-esque. That's a little, and he kind of gets a little passive-aggressive little,
I'd expect nothing less from the Mother of Dragons.
Yeah, it's like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
And here's the thing. Like, I think the thing that makes it seem so bad, this is not uncommon practice. Jon has executed men for not listening to him.
Yeah, treason is death. I mean, that's just what it is.
It's the verbiage, like she's not like I will have you executed. It's I will burn you alive. Like that sounds a lot worse than a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But it really, in practice, it gets the same result. Especially with Dragonfire, not a lot of suffering there. You just kind of go.
Yeah, it'd be pretty instant. I mean, we see people just I guess Wildfire kind of just vaporize people, but still Dragonfire is all the same.
I mean, I feel like there's something in House of the Dragon when we watch people like their shoes get left behind, but their entire body was just like, whew, like it's
yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's just her way of executing people. She's not one to swing the sword, but she will follow the sentence.
She does execute. She does. It is her word that makes that happen, and she doesn't breathe fire, but that extension of her does.
Oh yeah.
But she's greeted by a visitor hereafter, where the Red Priestess Melisandre is back, and she's like, "Yeah, I think you got a part to play in the wars to come. I think that you might be, the prince who was promised." And she's like, "It doesn't sound like that could be me, because I am not a prince."
Very strange.
And Missandei's like, "I believe your translation is wrong, Your Grace. In High Valyrian, the word for prince or princess is gender neutral, and therein the proper translation is the prince or princess who was promised."
Is this legit? You think this is actually the plan the whole way, or this was just kind of like the showrunners being like
100% an improvisation?
Okay.
No, but here's the thing: is that I also don't think it's that far fetched. All sorts of languages, all over the world,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every language is very different. This is sort of believable, like it's Valyrian. It's a language, kind of like Latin sort of thing, like a deadish language. Only a few people.
There's a line in Everything Everywhere All at Once that Michelle Yeoh delivers at the beginning whenever she's talking about Joy's girlfriend, where she says he, and then she's like, "She, mom," and she's like, "In Chinese we don't have there is no fucking so it's like it's not some ancient thing necessarily. Like this does have much, and frankly, it's not the worst thing in the world. But Tyrion, the pointing it out and being like, doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well. And Daenerys is like, yes, but I prefer it.
Yeah, she's like, I actually like that. That's kind of nice. And she speaks Valyrian. It's kind of weird that she just doesn't know this. It's like she speaks fluent Valyrian. So I don't know. It is kind of like a weird. I guess Missandei is fluent, like very, very trained in language.
Yeah, I'm like, she's only ever listened to it and spoke it. It's kind of like, there are words that we don't know the meaning of that we know the word, So like, I think that's it's something, but regardless, language is just a complicated fucking thing, especially when they're fictional languages and nothing, like it's a tough thing to keep up with. So it's one of those things where it might be a little convenient, but it's one of those things they can get away with because it's not like there's nothing we can say to really dispute it. It's not like we can be like, well, that's not true because like it is because they made it so.
We're in a show with dragons and the Night King and the Lord of Light and all this other shit. So, but I do love how Melisandre is kind of being like, Daenerys is. So you think that I am, the princess who's promised? She goes, prophecies are very dangerous. They're dangerous things. This kind of felt like a little fourth wall breaky-ish, a little bit, being like, hey guys, like don't. Prophecies aren't truth, like just because this is a prophecy in the show does not mean it's going to come true and everything. And she does, the Lord of Light kind of reasoning that we've got to. It's just, it's all different for everybody and everyone has their own part to play. But,
and like, here's the thing. It could be prince or princess who was promised or prince and princess who was promised as, Jon and Dany are the two candidates here, and she, I love the way that she's like, I think it could be you, and I think it could be one other, Jon Snow, the King in the North. And Tyrion Lannister goes, Jon Snow, the King in the North.
What the fuck? He's like Ned Stark's bastard. The last time he left him, he was just joining the Night's Watch, and he's like, the shit. Yeah, Tyrion.
I haven't heard a fucking thing about him since. I mean, like, he wouldn't have. He's been obviously quite busy with King's Landing, and then when he was imprisoned, I mean, like, he left for Essos before Jon became Lord Commander.
And the Citadel didn't even know Jorah wasn't dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then Aemon wasn't dead either. So, like, if the Citadel doesn't know, I'm assuming King's Landing has no clue as well. So,
exactly. So, like, it's extremely funny for Tyrion to be like, the King in the North, Jon Snow. I'm sorry. And he vouches for Jon. He's like, Daenerys. He's a good dude. Like, I only knew him for a short time, but in that time, he's trustworthy. And given the crimes by the Lannisters against his family, he probably hates them more than you do. And
I would say so.
And I loved the way that Melisandre's like, invite him down, talk to him, let him tell you what he's seen, and then we can, you'll know what you need to do.
They did skip a scene in this one a little bit. Whenever Daenerys clears the room and just has this one-on-one with Olenna, like when they're in the war room. I don't know. I thought wasn't that before Melisandre comes in?
No, that's after the meeting in the war room. She holds Olenna behind and clears the room for everyone else.
I thought they talked first and then went to go talk to Melisandre. Okay.
No, yes, that is the next scene because
they go Tyrion. Okay, yeah. I'm squared away now.
Yeah, you're all good. You're all good. But yeah, Dany's like, all right, you know what? Go ahead, send a Raven north. Let him know he can come on down to Dragonstone, and he can bend the knee. And, we hear that and we go,
he won't do that.
No, he won't do that.
He won't do that. He got that one from Mance Rayder.
That was a big wildling trait he inherited big time. But then we head to the Chamber of the Painted Table. One of my favorite names for a room ever. The Chamber of the Painted Table, hard as fuck.
It's not the War Room. Is the war room is that a...
That is the war room. It is the chamber of the painted table. Because it's got that is the painted table is the...
I prefer this name much more.
Yeah, it's hard. I love that.
Of the painted table. Yeah.
But Yara and Ilaria Sand are there, with Olenna and Tyrion and Varys and all the like, and they are staunchly, Yara and Ilaria, on the side of assaulting King's Landing. Go ahead.
The fuck are we waiting?
You have every means to take over today. Like, not even like next, like, it's not going to be a battle. You could be the queen by tonight if you wanted to. And that is always just a wild thing to like recall, is that like
very true.
It is like, that simple if she wants it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, they're totally right. Like, she pulls up with 3 dragons. They have that one crossbow, in the bottom of, the crypt, whatever, at King's Landing. Like, they're working on them now. But, like, yeah, they go now, even with all that stuff. Like, yeah, it's wraps. Like, it's just...
over. It is over. But, yeah, Tyrion's like, I don't know. I mean, if we did that, tens of thousands of innocents would die. And Ilaria's like, you pussy. You don't got the stomach for war.
Yeah. This is war. That's what it is. They're like, that's what happens. It's like, there's other ways to do this. We have other plans.
There's more ways to do this than kill innocents. Over here we don't poison. I don't like to poison little girls.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, these two have mad beef.
They definitely, Tyrion definitely hates her.
Well, and she hates him because Oberyn died for him. Like, that's...
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, like, it's just layers and layers and layers of relationships between characters that you don't even think of until they, like, this is one of those examples where it's nice for them to kind of expository point it out,
Yeah. Yeah, something that just goes over your head usually, but then, or you just don't remember it necessarily, but...
Yeah, like, there absolutely would be. There would be a tension here. There would be a beef between these two, and...
Daenerys having to be like, all right. Like, he's my hand, by the way. You'll talk to him nicely.
You don't talk to him, you fuck with me, okay? Yeah. That's, you don't play like that. And Daenerys, ends that argument, but they get back to the matter of the invasion. Daenerys insists that she doesn't wish to be known as the Queen of the Ashes, to quote Tyrion. And Tyrion's kind of like, my words have meaning with her. I'm respected here. I love that. But Olenna's like, oh, sure. We'll just go ahead and go down there and ask for it nicely then. Is that?
God, I love Olenna. She is.
I do too, man.
I wonder if it's partially because she's like just on her way out. She's getting old. If she's like, let's just fucking do it. Like there's, or if this is truly like how she believes. Say she's 40 years younger. Does she still? I think like
she does. I do. I think there's multiple things at play here. She obviously hates the queen.
Yeah. She wants her dead very soon, as possible. So I guess there is that.
But I don't think that would change Olenna's fiery spirit. Like, I do think that, like, she's like that. This is just how she is. And, she reminds Daenerys of Marjorie's fate, She was like, yes, my granddaughter was loved. More loved than any queen in history. The noblemen loved her. The commoners loved her. And still, she was killed by Cersei. So, it doesn't make you immune to be loved. In fact, and you can tell that there's kind of this argument that's like, there's a reason what Cersei's doing is working.
Yeah.
And it's because nobody fucks with her.
They are deathly afraid of having the city blow up, like it's not like the Mad King just burning people and like you're afraid of that. You are afraid of like your entire home just being kaboom,
eviscerated.
So, yeah. Cersei, you could be queen, no problem. But yeah, I love. Everyone's wearing black. Olenna's wearing black. Dany's wearing black. Cersei wearing black. Jon is he's kind of brownish. He's got the Ned kind of look going on there. But Sansa's
wearing
also,
black. Yeah, I'm like,
yeah. like everyone is just in dark mode.
We're in the
just
dark times, man. It's winter has come, like I think that's kind of where we're at. And but Tyrion proposes using a combination of Tyrell and Dornish forces to lay siege to King's Landing, much to the chagrin of them. They're like, why the fuck did you even bring your own soldiers then? And Tyrion's like, well, this is why. We will be using the Unsullied and the Dothraki to take Casterly Rock as, laying siege to King's Landing with Unsullied and Dothraki might send the wrong message about patriotism for Westerosi people.
Exactly. They're proving Cersei's point. That's
yes.
Cersei literally, or maybe Jaime, used this. Like, hey, are you really going to fight for the side of the Dothraki and eunuchs or whatever, call them?
Savages and eunuchs, as Jaime puts it later.
So it's, I mean, this is very, very smart, a very smart decision. And also, kind of taking Casterly Rock, same plan that Robb had when he planned to take over. And it's very fair. If you take over Casterly Rock, you show the Lannisters aren't invincible and aren't, just untouchable. And you also take King's Landing at the same time with two massive armies as well. So yeah, I think it works.
And just destroy the morale of the Lannister army at that point. And in the meantime, the Greyjoy fleet will escort Arya back to Sunspear to rally the Dornish forces and then ferry them up the coast to King's Landing, bypassing the Stormlands and allowing the siege to commence. And Daenerys accepts Tyrion's proposal and reminds the others on her council that she will not be attacking King's Landing and requests consenting approval from everyone, which they give, whether they want to or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good plan, in theory. Just one little hiccup in the road or in the sea that we run into.
It's pretty much nothing but hiccups here on out, because even the taking of Casterly Rock, I don't recall if you remember how that goes.
Is that the big fight, like the Lannister army fight with Tarly, young Tarly, Dickon? Yes. That it doesn't end well.
But I mean, it doesn't end well for anybody, but it doesn't go to plan. The Lannister forces are not in Casterly Rock. They've sacrificed. They sacrificed Casterly Rock. Yeah. They let them have it.
That's right. It's just empty.
And they take Highgarden.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Damn. Okay. Dang. Yeah, there is a massive chess game going on right now.
No, like it's and furthermore, Jaime uses the strategy that Robb did. Remember when the Lannisters were meeting the Starks in open battle, and the reason that they routed them is because there was like 300 dudes there.
Okay.
And they all ended up kidnapping Jaime and so like it's Jaime employing what he's learned and everything. Like it's one of the cooler storylines in terms of battlements in this show. And that'll be within the next 2 episodes. Like that's how quick this season is that everything we're talking about. Like last week I was like, I don't know if you remember, you're on attacks and takes, the sand snakes, the end of next episode. And there's a lot more fast travel in this one. We cut from Daenerys saying send a raven north to Jon reading that raven's letter.
Yeah.
And like it's, I don't have much problem with that, but like it's just an interesting.
They fast tracked that raven.
Yeah.
They were like, all right, boy, we're gonna let you snort some cocaine.
Fast track a lot. This episode is we are moving. Like it feels like stuff's happening fast, but regardless, I do enjoy it all the more. But the Dragon Queen tells the Queen of Thorns that she is aware that her motives are based on revenge for Cersei and not out of love for her. She's like, I get it. I don't love it, but I get it. And Daenerys insists that she will usher in an era of peace. And Olenna's like, fucking peace.
No
you
such
think that's
thing.
what we had under your father or his father or his father? No. She tells Daenerys that Tyrion is a clever man. And she's known many a clever man in her life, but she's outlived all of them. And you know why? She's ignored every single one of them.
Badass.
And then she delivers my line of the episode. The lords of Westeros are sheep. Are you a sheep? No. You're a dragon. Be a dragon.
maybe she took this one a little to heart. You know, or I don't know. This is good advice.
I think
it's
it's 100%. Like, I think what she does is what Olenna meant. Like, I don't think it's I don't think it's like she took it a little too literally or anything. Like, no, I think Olenna is saying, like, if you want to be queen, go fucking take it.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ideally, it would be nice to do all of this pleasantry. Just take it democratically, whatever. But it's like that's just not the way. You have Cersei up on that throne. It's just like not gonna go down that way.
And furthermore, when she does burn the city, they have relinquished the title, and she just decides to do it anyway. So there's a little bit of everything going on here, where like there are choices that make it a little iffy, but the logic behind it happening isn't horrendous, you know.
Yeah.
But regardless, she says, "You're a dragon, be a dragon," and that was my line of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Great little interaction between two of the most badass ladies in the entire show. So I loved that. But later on, we go up to the chambers where Missandei, visits Grey Worm. She's like, "So you weren't even going to say goodbye, huh? You were just going to fucking go. You were just going to leave." Yeah. He's like, "I do what my queen bids."
I will be back. I will see you when I get back, or this is my favorite scene. I mean, I think this is just
too good, man.
It's just the scene of the episode. I mean, just finally we've had some cute moments between Grey Worm and Missandei.
We've actually had, this is an extended version of an exact moment we've had earlier in the show, which I think you dubbed your favorite scene earlier, whenever he wakes up after being stabbed, and he's like, "I was afraid for the first time. Afraid I never see Missandei of Noth." And then they kiss for the first time there. But like,
it's like he's saying the right thing. He has like good intentions, but like the way he says it, you are my weakness. And she's like, "Oh,
lovely,
okay, sure, cool." But then like he gets into it, the backstory, when kids are afraid of dogs, when they're afraid of heights,
strong, unsullied.
Brutal. I mean, very brutal. If they live, good. If they die, good. Like, holy shit.
No matter what, strong, unsullied. I almost went with Jacob Anderson as Grey Worm for the performance, because he's just so great at expressing this hardened vulnerability. Like, it feels like, I've talked about this with Lena Head a lot, where you can tell she wants to put off that she feels one way, but you can tell she feels another. And the idea of performing that is incredibly difficult, and all the conflicting emotions that happen here for Grey Worm, where he wants to put on a steely exterior, but he's getting vulnerable and he doesn't know how to do it, but he's trying his best. And then as the scene progresses into his like sexual confusion, basically like, I love this, but I don't want you to see that. I don't want you to see me. Exactly. Like, it's all so fucking good on his part, man.
Kind of like shaking a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like he's very nervous, and like, obviously this is the first time that this has ever happened to him. And it's Missandei, at least she breaks the ice. She goes first. And I think this. I mean, it was very. I mean, they showed everything here. I mean, they were not shy. Very not shy to show away, but I think it was, done pretty well. Like, this is not in a whorehouse. This is not, like the usual.
No. And I think it's like there's a reason you let this breathe. It's incredibly important, I think. Like I love that this was, the culmination of seasons of pent up emotion between Grey Worm and Missandei. Something they've always wanted to express, but something they never have, and that's partially because of Grey Worm's, fear. That's partially because of Missandei's reluctance to take initiative. You don't want to force anything on somebody who doesn't want to do that. So it's, like it's,
they feel, and like, finally they're like, their shields are, gone. It's all, everything's like gone. They're finally comfortable with each other. And like you could tell, like, even before, there was still this kind of like, not tension between them, but just like, just fear to take that next step. And
no,
now,
for sure. We've been talking about stuff in previous, like there was that time whenever Tyrion asks them, I think it's last season, he's like, what would you be talking about if I wasn't here right now? And he's like,
battle
patrol.
plans, patrol, yeah, or like whatever, yeah.
Who we found on patrol,
Yeah.
what we did on patrol. And he's not lying. That's what they would be talking about. They don't do this. This isn't something there is no stuff off screen. Like, we watch every major moment for them. That's like, we see all of it, you know?
Yeah, they've not been allowed to be a human, you know, and Tyrion like finally being like, drink with me, just chill out, you know, like, just have some emotion. And now finally they don't need Tyrion to be the catalyst anymore. They're on their own doing it.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I loved this scene, man. I appreciated how, like, we see a lot of sex scenes in Thrones, of course, over the course of its run, and I think that, you know, we have the more horrific ones, like Jaime and Cersei in the Sept, like Sansa and Ramsay on their wedding night, etc., etc.
There's a big spectrum, a wide
wouldn't call
range.
those sex scenes; I'd call those rape scenes. You know, like it's definitely a different thing.
Very wide spectrum.
I don't think that we've gotten to. You know, like this reminded me of Rob and Talisa early on, season 3 or season 2. You know, the first time that they give in to their passions, and it's kind of like,
that's
finally
I forgot about
something good,
Yeah,
nice, sweet.
great.
You know, like it's
finally not just nudity for nudity. You know, this is if it was written by D&D, I don't know, maybe it goes a little different. Like, thankfully, we got it written by the Cogman. I think the idea was there though. This was the idea of the scene. They are comfortable with each other now.
They're officially they're giving in, and I loved it. And for the second time confirmed on screen, Grey Worm is now the second man in Westeros to go down on a woman.
I love how we literally had a conversation of everyone who probably eats puss in Westeros or Essos, but we do have 2 confirmed in show.
Jon Snow.
Canon,
what was that thing you did with your tongue? You know, I just did what I thought was right. You know, like
God, man,
love that shit.
Awesome. And we were like, okay, Podrick, probably. You know,
Oberyn and like Dorne.
Yeah, you said Dorne at large. I lost it right when you just everyone in Dorne.
Everyone in Dorne eats puss, man. It's just a guarantee.
Yeah. But was that it? I feel like they're
Yara. We said Yara.
True.
I'm trying to recall.
You know, Dany had that one scene with her like handmaiden or like not handmaiden.
No. Early on though.
You think that?
I think that if she were in that scenario, I think she would. Oh, Dario, no doubt.
Forget about Dario, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Okay.
But but that might be it. But like Grey Worm is the most surprising addition to that list. But it's also not. You know, you're like, well,
it's like what else? Like it's like
you're like, you have to. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a scene within the next couple episodes. We were also discussing how Missandei and Daenerys haven't had a lot of chance to be one-on-one yet. I think it's probably next episode now that this has happened, where Missandei and Grey Worm like exchange a look, and Dany looks at Missandei like gives her a little eyebrow there, and she's like, how? And she's like, it works, you know, like she's like, it works, you know, but I'm looking forward to that. But that did conclude the story in Dragonstone for us with some of. I mean, Missandei and Grey Worm are definitely the highlight of those scenes, but some very important groundwork laid for the next 2 seasons of Daenerys' arc, this season and next season. So, it's very good. I like it a lot. But well, then head.
That's like the beginning of the episode, and like that's one of my favorites, but everything else comes from something else. And I thought, like, I had a lot, like, the line, that's the line I was going to put in, saw that you had it. I'm like, okay, damn. The scene, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty much it. And I'm like, the performances could have been both of them. Missandei and Grey Worm as well. It's like
unbelievably, like, I usually have like usually on average 2 or 3 choices for performance. And on an iffy episode 1 where I'm like, no doubt, like last week. I could have picked fucking anybody in the cast this week.
Everyone was going. Fine. Everyone was going hard this episode. It was just I was worried a little bit after last episode. I'm like, I'm going with neutral expectations, for the rest of the season, and this was a very nice delight.
I was happy with the fact that I ended last week going, you know what? I'm gonna go optimist. I'm gonna go, and then it immediately paid off. I was very happy with this one. So, we will be heading to King's Landing next, where in the throne room of the Red Keep, Queen Cersei gives a speech urging the nobles from the Reach, including Lord Randall Tarley, to reaffirm their allegiance to the throne and not follow House Targaryen in supporting Daenerys. She's already exemplified her horror in Essos, and it's already legendary. She's crucified noblemen in Slaver's Bay. It's pretty impressive that she doesn't lie. She just spins everything.
She technically doesn't lie. Yeah, technically not, but paints it in a way worse light. Omits the fact that like these are all slave owners.
It means that it implies that Cersei is like, she doesn't even care about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she does.
Yeah, whatever she needs to further her power and just make everyone against Daenerys.
She's brought the Dothraki and the Unsullied to Westeros, and back in Essos they would pillage lands and homes, rape their women. They would do that here too. And Tarly steps up and is like, she's got 3 dragons.
Yeah. What the hell are we gonna do against that?
What do we do there?
Sure, all sounds great, but I mean, come on. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, we are hard at work on a solution.
Yeah. I love Qyburn. Qyburn's just a sneaky little sly guy.
He also got like a little haircut between seasons, which was like, I can tell, like, I don't know, like, I think it's always funny whenever like in between seasons, even if something takes place like immediately after, stuff looks different, and it's like only naturally, like it's been months since you last shot, like it's gonna change.
Yeah.
But even like the outfit Daenerys arrived to Dragonstone in last week, it's not the outfit we see her sailing in episode 10. And obviously it's a long journey, she probably changes at some point. Like it's just but like that's the sort of shit that's a little funny to me. It's never like, oh, why would they do
it? I hate this show.
No, yeah, it's just like I like those little things. And Qyburn looks like he looks like he just came from the barber.
It came from the makeup trailer.
Exactly.
Or got a fresh cut.
Following the audience with Queen Cersei, Lord Tarly meets a private with Jaime Lannister, who wants to appoint him as a general. Notes that he is the only man to ever defeat Robert Baratheon in open battle. Not even Rhaegar did that. Which is like, okay, Randall.
No, I hate this guy. He's a piece of shit.
Oh, I hate this guy. This is far and away like the coolest scene with him in it. As far as how he is.
Seems just level-headed war general.
Yes. He's a military man.
Yeah.
A military man through and through, military conservative dad. That's what he is.
On the nose. Yeah.
Yes. And he states, like, I'm not going to break loyalty to House Tyrell. We don't cut throats at weddings. We don't stab our friends in the back. And Jaime's like, well, you also swore an oath to the Iron Throne. And Cersei is definitely preferable to Daenerys. She brought the Dothraki. The Dothraki in Westeros for the first time in history.
Mm-hmm.
It's outstanding that the Dothraki are like this thing of legend, this horde of savages that we never have to worry about in Westeros. But oh goddamn, like beware if you're over there.
Because I guess fair enough. The Dothraki were perfectly fine being over there doing what they're doing. But yeah, they're not going to build ships and come over to. They don't give a fuck, really.
It's the poison water that they sail upon.
True.
But no, yeah, like it's funny because usually whenever people say things like this in a show where it's like they're savages and they're going to come over and they're going to rape our women and they're going to do this and this, it's like unfounded in a really racist sort of sense, but like, no, that's actually exactly what the Dothraki will do. If they,
Is it actually what they do all the time?
That's the Dothraki's deal, you know, I can't deny that, you know, it's not like, oh, you're just being stereotypical. No, that's like what the Dothraki do.
Like they're actually very scared for what's about to go down if they're near. So,
you know, and you have a little more hope for Daenerys at the helm of that army. And then to just let them run willy-nilly. You know, she just told Yara that there's no more reaving and raping and pillaging and all that for the Iron Islanders if they take over. So, you know, but nevertheless, Jaime also promises that Cersei, you know, they're going to need a new Warden of the South. If you want to boogie on down.
That is an official thing? Like,
yes, and that's actually something the books spend a little more time on than the show has. This is the first mention of anything besides a Warden of the North.
That's what I thought. I was like, I don't think I've heard it in the show before. And I'm like,
there is a warden of every cardinal direction. There is a Warden of the West, a Warden of the East, a Warden of the North, and the Warden of the South.
Okay. Makes sense. But I thought it'd be hilarious if like Jaime just made, you know, he's like just made it up, being like, hey, yeah, we need a Warden of the South, you know, actually. But then Randall Tarley would have been like, the fuck? Like, he's like, okay, I guess. Yeah, but he's very, I guess, he's okay with this. He's like, oh.
It is funny that they've never made mention of it, you know, like, because I guess the implication would be that Mace Tyrell was the previous Warden of the South.
Yeah, I wonder who it was.
Because I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the show, Tywin's Warden of the West, I think, at the beginning of the show. Warden of the East is either Renly or Stannis, would be my guess. Like,
it was Robin Arryn. The Vale is Warden of the East. Mace Tyrell, Warden of the South. Eddard Stark of the North, and Tywin Lannister, Warden of the West, actually. And I guess Casterly Rock, is that over in the... No? That's not over in the West, is it? Maybe it is.
Yeah, Casterly Rock is.
Okay. And yeah, I guess that does make sense. Okay. Oh yeah, there it is. Very, very west. As far west almost as you can go. So yeah, but obviously they're not around. Literally none. Well, I guess Robin Arryn is the only living warden that was, from the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I suppose Robin would have been dubbed that at the beginning of the show because we start with the death of the Hand, his father.
Yep. Yeah. And at the end of the show, the Warden of the North, I guess, would be Sansa still.
Yeah, because there's a queen in the North now. They're emancipated.
Fair. The Robin Arryn's still Warden of the East.
Robin Arryn, the constant.
Yeah. Gendry Baratheon, Warden of the South. And then Tyrion Lannister, Warden of the West.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess I hadn't considered that the Stormlands are south. I would have thought of that as east, but...
yeah.
Okay, I dig that. But, yeah, later on, Qyburn leads Cersei to the dragon skulls beneath the Red Keep, and he tells Cersei that his spies have reported that one of Daenerys' dragons was wounded by a spear at Meereen, and if they can be wounded, they can be killed, as he so eloquently puts it. And Qyburn then displays a scorpion, a long-ranged artillery weapon, which is basically just a giant spear on a catapult, and reassures her that they
kind of cool, like
dragons.
The history of like the weapons they have. Like Joffrey had like the first kind of like crossbow, like kind of like I don't know. I guess they had like I guess that kind of was like the first crossbow that they ever kind of had. Now they're like, well, let's just make it fucking way bigger. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I was like, really? A spear going real fast going to kill a dragon? But they did show it go through a fucking dragon skull. So, like, fair, and like, if you do hit the shot, fair enough. Like it does make sense here. But I do love how like Qyburn's like, hey, if you
I still
pull that lever.
I get that it's. I think in a show with such a vast imagination, for the dragon killing weapon to just be a giant fucking crossbow is a little underwhelming. And don't get me wrong, it's obviously incredibly practical. It's something that they have to be able to deploy. Like, it makes sense, but we're talking about fantasy, bro. Like, let's live it up a little.
Can't use wildfire. They're immune to fire.
Yeah.
It's so you got to use ice in some way, but how the fuck are they going to harness the power of ice? They're not like that. They're not.
No,
it's like what else do they really have?
Get it.
It's like maybe some trap, they lure it in somewhere and then like drop something on its head. I don't know, but it's like this is at least a way of like while they're in the air, you can do something.
Yeah, no, like I get it. I do. I've always felt like I don't know what the correct answer would be. I don't know what would satiate that want from me. I just don't it's fine. It's a cool weapon. It's just like it could be cooler, I think. But
oh, dude, imagine they stuffed like a bunch of animals with explosives and they made the dragon eat it and then they just kaboom. Well, I guess I don't know. Do explosives? Yeah, I mean,
like they do have fire burning within them, so like who knows?
And maybe that wouldn't even work. I don't know.
He has her test that scorpion on Balerion the Dread skull.
Yeah.
And it goes right on through.
Apparently they built that thing for real.
Yeah, no, that's practical.
6 weeks, I think, is what I was reading for them to build it. That's just kind of nuts to have an arrow just pierce. I don't know if I'm assuming they didn't actually fire this arrow. It's just they built the thing without the arrow and then just jammed one in there. But pretty sick. Pretty like just a cool visual to have them like walk up next to it too and just see how fucking big.
And like it's it has to be practical, and if it's not, it's incredible visual effects. But Cersei, coming up to the nose on the skull of Balerion the Dread, pretty massive. But that concludes the story in King's Landing, and we then head to Winterfell. Wherein Jon Snow, Sansa Stark, and Davos Seaworth discuss the letter they received from Tyrion. And Jon's like, read the last line for me, for all dwarfs are bastards in their father's eyes. He's like, we can trust him. And everyone's like, why the fuck do you think we can trust? We can. He's like, Sansa, Tyrion, he's a good dude. I know he's a Lannister and fuck them, but like he's like the exception to that rule, and that, I know that. But they're curious if they can trust this, and even so, Sansa worries it is a too big a risk to let Jon go down there, and Jon concedes that now is not the right time to go. And Davos is like, well, you said that fire can kill the White Walkers, right? What breathes fire?
Yeah, that's pretty big there. And they just found out that there's a mountain of dragon glass there. So it's like, we have dragons that breathe fire that can kill a White Walker's army, and then we have the weapons also there at Dragonstone.
Well, and that's the thing, is that the dragons weren't quite enough. It was like, that's too big a risk. It's when he does find out about the dragon glass that he goes,
oh, because he gets that. He does get that out. Yeah.
Yeah. I also I do have to go. I do have to go.
My best friend, the person I trust most in the world. I think he says, like, that was pretty cute.
Some unspecified amount of time later, Maester Wolken brings Jon a message from Sam in the Citadel, and Jon gathers the Northern Lords in the main hall and announces that Sam's letter reveals there is a mountain of dragon glass beneath Dragonstone. He adds that, of course, he trusts Sam more than anybody in the entire world. He was his brother in the Night's Watch, and he trusts him as much as anybody. So I do believe this. And he's like, so, that's very good to know. Everybody, there's a mountain of dragon glass in Dragonstone. Okay, now, a couple days ago, I also received this letter from Queen Daenerys Targaryen. And just, again, when it comes to characters who never interact, never see each other, they almost feel like they're from two separate shows. The first time Jon Snow says Queen Daenerys Targaryen,
Just felt it was
it's extremely satisfying.
Yeah, it just is. It's nice to whenever everything starts to fully connect, and we have all the interlacing that's about to happen.
Oh, dude, I fucking love it. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
But he's like, I've been invited to Dragonstone to meet with the Queen and announce his decision to, so I'm gonna go down there, and she's here. She's got an army of Unsullied. She's got Dothraki. She's got the Dragon Glass, and
I gotta go.
Three fully grown dragons, and everyone in the room goes, "Oh God!" They're all like, "Oh no!" So he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go."
Yeah, the North didn't like that.
No, they did not.
They did not, and everyone was very against it.
And this is why I went with Jon Snow. I went with Jon Snow for the character of this episode.
Yeah, he's the man that has to make the hard decisions.
Oh, and he's like, y'all just... And again, Kit Harington's performance, Jon Snow, like, the characterization of him in this moment, when he goes, I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to ask her to help us mine that dragon glass and to have her ally with us against the White Walkers. I'm going to take Davos. We're going to go to White Harbor, and we're going to sail to Dragonstone immediately. Yeah. And, they all Lord Jon Royce and Robert Glover voice their opinions that a Targaryen cannot be trusted, citing the atrocities committed by Daenerys, and Lady Lyanna urges the King of the North to stay in the North. And Jon accepts, that he's taking a risk, and Sansa's like, do you forget what happened to grandfather? Like, do you remember what happened to dad's dad and dad's brother and everything there? And there's a look when she says that Kit Harington gives, where he just kind of like looks down and like smirks, like it's just y'all are never gonna fucking get it.
Yeah,
y'all are just not going to get that. This is and then he says it. He's like, none of you have seen them.
Yep.
You can't know. Like you can't know, and I don't blame you for that. But I'm leaving. I'm going because I know this is what we need to do. And Sansa goes like, why? You cannot go. The King in the North should be in the North. And he says, I know. I'm leaving the North in good hands, though. Yeah. Sansa goes, who? And he goes, yours.
Just one Stark left in Winterfell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While I'm gone, the North is yours.
Nice. I did like that. I also loved him saying, like, you guys appointed me as your king. Yes, you did. I never wanted it. He's like, I never wanted it. But you love me, I guess.
I never wanted it.
Yeah.
But I took it because the North is my home. And I love it here, and I will fight to defend it. I loved it. It's just, yes, loved it. So already, I'm like, okay, Jon's my character of the episode. And then we go into the catacombs beneath Winterfell, wherein Peter Baelish finds Jon Snow, who was visiting his father's tomb, and vouches that Tyrion can be trusted. And Peter tells Jon that while he and Ned had their differences, they both loved Catelyn Stark. And he notes Catelyn wasn't fond of Jon, and muses that perhaps Catelyn underestimated his potential. And Jon, all the while, Kit Harington's performance once again, just completely disgusted with this fucking guy.
You don't belong down here. Is like the first thing he says to him. I'm like, oh man, let's fucking go.
Doesn't matter. Down here is for my fucking family. You are, who the fuck are you? He's like, I'm sorry, we've never had the chance to properly talk, so I figured why not come on down here? And, he says, that Peter shouldn't be there. They have nothing to say to each other. And Baelish replies that Jon should be grateful to him.
Not even thank you.
Yeah.
He's like, not even a thank you. Jon like stops. He's like,
seething. Okay. Seething.
All right. I'll talk to you, I guess. But yeah, he does not say the right thing. Littlefinger here. Just keeps saying the wrong things over and over.
I am not your enemy. And I love Sansa as I loved her mother. And Jon just swings around, pins him against the wall by the throat, and tells him, I believe it is your line.
It is my line. Yeah, I mean, it's just the delivery of it and the moment of it. But he says, touch my sister and I'll kill you myself, and just walks out. And man, I don't know. I love his outfit. Like, he is looking like a Ned, you know, like did it look like, did he kind of have armor on this episode? Like, it looked like he was a little more beefed up a little bit. Like, he kind of had some armor instead of just the what do you call that? What do you call the big thing Sansa made him? The cloak? The
cloak, yeah.
Cloak, yeah. Like, it kind of looked like he had like a chest, like a really big kind of like chest piece on or something. But I don't know. I love the look, and like, especially showing him from behind, like whenever he's in the crypt, and like it just, the Starks from behind, they all just look the same. Like Benjen, Jon, and Ned, like they all just kind of look the same.
Well, and furthermore, this is a wonderful, wonderful little parallel. This is not the first time Littlefinger has been held against a wall by the throat by a Stark. The first time was Ned in season 1 when he traveled to King's Landing. And he had Catelyn arrange a little meet in his brothel, and he pins Littlefinger against the wall. So it's just another further little parallel between Jon and Ned here, which is so satisfying. I fucking love it every time.
Ned never goes away. You know, we get another parallel with another Stark and Ned a little later on that I very much enjoyed. It's where my character comes from, but we'll get to her later.
But yeah, you know, outside, Jon and Davos mount up and ride on. Super sucks, you know, because it's like immediately after Arya hears that they're alive, and she's going like, so she's riding north and they're leaving, and so it's just the story of the Stark's life, just bad timing. But
just took back Winterfell, went through Battle of the Bastards, finally home. Stark banners dropped, and it's like, now I got to go to Dragonstone.
I got shit I got to do, man. I'm sorry.
Damn, dude. You know, he's always like, he had to go north of the wall to talk to Mance. He's like, you know, this is a suicide mission, basically. I don't give a fuck. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. Same thing here. Like,
I love on their way out when Peter's like walking out of the crypts, and you can see him like blurt out going, like he's like reaching for his collar, like fucking shit.
Yeah,
like,
Jon gives that little wave to Sansa, like,
yeah,
you know, you told me not to protect you, whatever. But I think I don't know. I was gonna do what I did in the crypt, no matter what.
I'll do my best. Do my best. But that concluded the story there, and we will then head to the Riverlands, wherein we get my favorite scene. I decided to go with this as my favorite scene, the first one in the Riverlands. Arya Stark encounters Hot Pie at the end of the crossroads, and accosting him to give her some pie and some ale. She's like, "Who's that for?" And then just takes it off her plate, takes it off the tray, starts eating it. She's like, "That's good. That's good." And Hot Pie's like, "Yeah, you know, the trick is to brown the butter a bit. You know, nobody thinks to brown the butter." I love that. That's like his whole shtick, is that he's like, "I do this, and nobody thinks to do this, so that's why I do it."
He loves to cook, very passionate about it, and like I love like. Whenever Arya takes it at first, he's kind of like pissed. He's kind of like, I don't know. But then like she's like, "This is so good," and he's like, he gets that smile on his face,
he's like, "Yeah, you know, it's pretty fucking good." And she's like, "You know, the trick is to brown the butter. Nobody thinks to brown the butter." And she's like, "Yeah, I didn't do that." And
make pause. Yeah, one or two. Yeah, I was like, it's like, I don't. Oh my god! It just clicked.
Literally just served a pie last episode.
Like, what pie is she talking about? How did that not click? Holy shit. Of course she didn't brown the butter. She didn't care if it tasted good at all. Oh my god, I cannot believe that.
Two episodes ago, served a pie to Walder Frey containing his sons.
Incredible.
But, just a little drop there. And there's this directional choice that it's already a good emotional scene that happens here. We barely see Hot Pie during this scene, during this entire conversation. They zoom in on Maisie Williams and let her face tell every bit of the story you need to. So I also went with Maisie Williams for my performance of the episode.
Okay. Nice.
So
Yeah,
this I wanted to spread the love, but I ended up loading this one up a little bit. Hot Pie asks, did the lady not ever find you? And she's like, what lady night? And she's all the while just munching away. You got some mail? Takes the ale, starts drinking it, and she's like, yeah, she found me. And Hot Pie asks where she's traveling to, and Arya tells him, I'm going up to King's Landing. And it's this moment when Hot Pie goes, oh yeah, heard Queen Cersei blew up the Sept of Baelor, and it's weird though. I would have thought you were heading to Winterfell. And she goes, why would I do that? The Boltons occupy Winterfell. And Hot Pie goes, not anymore. The Boltons are dead. Yeah. Jon Snow killed him in the Battle of the Bastards. He's been named King in the North. And dude, and it was this moment for Macy Williams that just like fucking clinched it for me. I was like, when she pauses, and it's still like we cut to Hot Pie for a second while he's delivering that line, but then we cut back to her and she's like, her eyes fill up with tears, and she licks up her fingers, puts the food down, is like, thanks man, I gotta go. Oh my God. I
love this choice. She's outside, she's on her horse, she looks at like the two paths to take. One to King's Landing to kill Cersei, the other to go home back to her family, and she's like, she's got to go home, and like that's the moment where I'm like, all right, you're my character of the episode, Arya. I was like, I'm already tearing up, like emotional moments, and then again, this, and then the next moment in the woods,
dude. Yeah,
oh my God,
this
is like,
just a series of fantastic scenes that I credit to Macy Williams almost entirely. Later on, as Arya prepares to set up camp in a snowy forest, her horse is startled by several wolves. And before the wolves can attack her, they're silenced by their pack leader. And Arya makes eye contact with this wolf and whispers, Nymeria? This is the first time we've seen Nymeria since season 1, episode 2 of the show.
Yeah. Go off, live your own life, Nymeria. Yes. Love, and I love that like she has needle in her hand, and every wolf is like they are fucking pissed. But then like right when she sets it down and like starts to walk towards Nymeria, it's like, okay, like all right, good, good that you're no sword in hand now, and man, this like Macy, I'm definitely glad she's getting a performance, because oh my God, this was incredible. Her I
loved it, especially considering that she's not acting off anything.
That's true. There's nothing there. A green tennis ball, maybe. How Daenerys has to rub a green tennis ball to pet Drogon, whatever. Yeah, this. Oh my God. Yeah, like come with me, please. Like, please, I'm going home. Going home. And at first I didn't. I think did I switch my line to this? I think I might have. Okay. I did have two. But since I'll give Arya the character, I think I'll keep the Jon Snow line because it was pretty badass. But like that's not you. Initially I was a little confused by it. I'm like is she in denial? Is she trying to be like, no, that's not Nymeria? But like it's a line that Arya says to Ned. Whenever Ned is saying, one day you'll grow up and you'll marry someone, you'll be in a castle, you'll wear very nice dresses, and she says, that's not me. Or something, and Ned's like, yeah, that's not you. It's like this moment they have together, and now Arya has to, has this moment with her and Nymeria, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like, this show's just so fucking incredible, like all the little tie-ins they do, and Arya, obviously wanting to be like, please join me, come home with me, like I miss you, but then her realizing like, you have your family here, you have your way of life, it's the same, I'm not gonna force you into anything. God. Oh my God.
No, Arya, I think we're getting to that point in the show when we're looking at like 3 different people most of the time for character and performance. And it's like, is it Jon? Is it Daenerys? Is it Arya? And that's going to kind of be the case from here on in. But regardless, and there'll be those exceptions, of course, but those are the most exciting 3 characters, seasons 7 and especially season 8.
With this. She was at 5. She was tied with Robb, Cersei, and Varys. Now she is tied with Ned Stark and Davos Seaworth at 6. So
good shit.
I do like that.
What about performances? Does this move her up to 3?
See, Macy Williams. Oh, you did. Did I not put that one in? I didn't. Yes, she is at 3. which ties her with Alfie Allen and Richard Madden.
Rob Stark there, so
yeah,
little parallel there as well. But that concludes the story in the Riverlands, and we'll head to Old Town. We're at the Citadel. Archmaester Ebros and Sam examine Jorah Mormont, whose grayscale is spread to his torso. And the Archmaester tells Jorah that, you should have cut off your arm instead of letting the infection spread. Don't know why you didn't do that, you fucking idiot.
Damn.
And,
yeah, fair enough. But it is my arm, But I, thinking later on what would happen. Fair. It's just a hard decision to make.
It is, I think he's, he knew he had to fight his way back to Daenerys. He knew he could only do that if he had both his arms, and he made the choice that he wanted to make. So I respect it. But
Jamie had to cut off. I think was it maybe up in his bicep or maybe his elbow, and he's like, "No, you're just cutting off my hand. That is all you're taking or whatever." It's even when he didn't have grayscale.
Exactly.
I guess a little different, but oh man, I love these scenes with Jorah. I was debating on who I could give the performance to, and I kind of just wanted to highlight just an underdog, someone who doesn't really get the limelight that often. I thought he did great in this episode.
Dude, I love
Is it Ian?
Yeah.
Is it just Ian? I thought maybe we found out that it was pronounced a little differently or something like that. But maybe I'm thinking of a different name.
Was somebody. There was somebody there.
Ray Fiennes, maybe that's who I'm maybe
Ray
thinking.
Fiennes was one of those. Was it Ewan Rayon? Ewan? The guy who played Ramsay? Was
maybe
that one that we did that with? Ewan?
Maybe that could be it. Yeah, has he gotten a performance not before?
Yes, I gave him one.
Yeah, that was definitely it. Yeah, his name. I think
we've done it with a few people: Ray Fiennes, Saoirse Ronan, Ewan Rayon. I feel like there's another one in Thrones that's not satisfying.
That's what I was saying. Itch. I know. It felt like there was maybe one more. I don't know. It could have been Thrones. It could have been a director's spotlight movie, though. Is what I'm.
Yeah,
that's what I'm also thinking. But yeah,
regardless.
No. Ian Glenn here. Oh my god, I was just for one, having to. I guess I'm, jumping a little bit, but he's being told, you don't have years before you're dead, but he's asking how long? Just you can hear in his voice, he's basically already given up. He knows his fate. And it's a couple years before you're dead, but he's no, how long? How long do I really have before my mind is taken? And he hears 6 months. Did you get it?
I got it. Yeah. Ioan Griffith.
Who
Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Reed Richards.
There we go.
IOA. It's GRUFFUDD, and it's pronounced Griffith. Remember, we were like, "What the fuck?"
Okay, that sounds way closer. Yeah, not a director's, not Thrones, comic book.
I was yeah, that's why Ewan Rayon was satisfying me, is because it's IWON when the name was IOAN, and I was like, it's right, it's something like that. But yeah, okay, we're there. Ian, Ewan, Yon, it was all right there. I was like, I was gonna figure it out. I wasn't gonna let that shit slide.
Now
but
we can sleep at night. Yeah, now we can sleep comfortably.
But yeah, Ebro states that Mormont is beyond saving, and while it is customary for infected small folk to be sent to live with the stone men, since he is highborn and a knight, he will give him one more day. And he goes ahead and takes a look at the sword and goes, "Do what you will." He obviously doesn't say that, but
go spend the night however you please. He very much implies it. He very much implies it. Yeah, that's eesh. This is rough, and then you see him start to write a letter. I guess it's a little later, but the letter he writes, it's so I paused to read it, and I was oh my god, I'm oh
yeah, I'm he's writing a suicide note to Daenerys.
Yeah. I wish I could have seen the world you would have built. And I've loved you from the moment I met you, was how it ended, I think. And he was still going to go, I think. He was still kind of going, and Sam interrupted him. But, oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. This, I
love Samwell finding out that he's Mormont.
Yeah.
Name's Jorah Mormont. He's Samwell, kind of well, I can't just fucking. But he has to leave, and later on, the Archmaester lectures Charlie about the art of writing history. And Sam refuses to give up on Jorah and mentions that a previous maester, Pylos, successfully treated 2 cases of advanced grayscale. And Eros is like, did it say how that ended for him? He died of grayscale. So
yeah, makes sense there. Deemed too dangerous to do, so it is banned. We no longer do this procedure.
We don't do that shit. We don't play that. But
sad.
Yeah, undaunted, not willing to give up, Sam decides to treat Jorah and secretly visits his quarters in the night while Jorah is writing that suicide note, and he tells him, "You are not dying today," and reveals himself to be a sworn brother of the Night's Watch, that he served under Jorah's father and was there when he died. And Sam gives Jorah rum to drink after taking a fortifying swig himself, telling him that the process will be painful. Sam also,
no, this is not good. And man, of course, they love just Old Town. Everything is disgusting in Old Town.
Terrible.
You know, we get the poop loop, and like, you know, mixing in with the food. Literally happens here, like the poop, and then like Sam pouring the soup. You know, like it, and so like just all looks the same. And then here you get like this like pus, and like he's cutting into one, and then it cuts to like someone eating like a chicken pot pie or something like that, you know. And I was just like, oh my god,
it's actually not the only match cut of the episode that's like, and the other one's extremely subtle, but I love it. I loved the choice. It's whenever Grey Worm is eating Missandei out, and she's like, she's moaning, and then she like reaches up like this, and then you see Ebros's hand grab something and pull something off of a shelf. So it was like supposed to imply that she like grabs the headboard. But
that's sick. I didn't notice that.
A little more subtle, that one, but it's like it's definitely supposed to evoke the same thing. But this one is much more gruesome, much more disgusting.
And
goes ahead, provides him with like a thick strip of leather to bite down on. Don't scream. I'm sorry. He's shushing him all the while. He's just scraping this disgusting flesh off of him.
God, and like the like whenever like the camera's like above Ian Glenn, and he's like just like trying to hold it in, you know, and like the noises and everything he's making, like that's like
that's a great performance to put on when you're not in pain. Yeah,
exactly. And this is not happening to him whatsoever. For one, having to go through like he's thinking this is his last night that he's going to be alive, and then finally like having this last glimmer of hope. I almost gave Sam the character for deciding to like just go against the Citadel's, you know, whatever rules and shit, and but no, I feel like Arya deserved it a little bit more.
I think so. But no, I love Sam in this one. This is one of those examples of just like, and this is one of those characters where you are so rarely concerned that Sam is actually ever in danger. And I think that you aren't even particularly worried he's going to die of grayscale here. Like there's that inscrutable logic that you can't escape when you're watching shit like this, where you're like, well, this isn't how they're going to kill Samwell Tarly. You know, he's lived through a couple battles. He's done a lot of shit. He's not just all of a sudden going to get infected with grayscale. So it's one of those things where like the stakes are a little muddled in that regard, but they do, you know, they make you want him. They make you want him to save Jorah, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, this was, I don't know. I like Sam's storyline. Like, I don't know. It's really cool to me, this watch.
I always love it. I always love it.
So I love Old Town, but
yeah, we'll head to the last place of the episode in Blackwater Bay, where Yara Greyjoy and her brother Theon travel aboard their portion of the Iron Fleet with their Dornish allies, Alaria Sand, her daughter Tyene, and Tyene's half-sisters Obara and Nymeria, the second Nymeria of the episode. And in their quarters, the Sand Snakes are lying in bed and arguing about killing Lannisters, and elsewhere Alaria drinks Ironborn liquor with Yara and Theon, which she compares unfavorably to Dornish wine. And Alaria asks Yara if she had ever been to Dorne, to which Yara responds that she has been there a few times. And Alaria responds that there is a boy in every port in Dorne, and Yara tells her a boy, a girl, depends on the port. And as they begin to flirt with one another, and Alaria motions for Theon to get her more wine, Yara explains Theon is not a servant, but will be both her advisor and protector once he's killed their uncle. And Yara puts her feet up on the table, and Ilaria bends over Yara and spreads her legs apart across the table. And Ilaria moves her hand up Yara's leg towards her crotch, and Ilaria is like, "You want to have a threesome with me and your sister?"
A foreign invasion is about to take place. I believe she says, something like that. Which, I mean, I don't know. It's, almost the line, but like I didn't want to. I don't know.
I almost went with Yara for the character just because of this entire and Yara's performance. Like, she's incredible, but she's like, leave him be. This ain't it right now. And I love the implication that it's not because she doesn't want to have a threesome with her brother. It's because he doesn't have a penis.
Yeah, she knows. She knows he's not about that life anymore. But hey, we got Grey Worm, and it worked. So yeah, Theon's just got to make that discovery.
He's just got to nut up.
Yeah, very figuratively. Is it just his shaft that's gone, or is it like is his
Theon's?
So he's got his balls still.
I'm pretty sure he does, which makes it even worse.
Yeah, that's a weird middle ground.
I'd rather go
just kind of clean off, at that point. It's like, I don't know. I guess I've never thought about this until, right? Yeah, wow, that's strange. Anyway, we can move on. We can move on from that, I guess.
But Yara's ship is struck and lurches to the side, moving topside, and they discover that their fleet is being ambushed by Euron's Iron Fleet. And I loved Yara climbing up the stairs, telling Ilaria, "Stay here." Super cool stuff. But Euron's flagship, Silence, is what it's called because he likes to cut people's tongues out so that he has silence and stuff.
Okay.
But we see a couple of people get their tongues cut off during this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, his entrance is kind of badass too. I mean,
fucking cool. My God. I'm like, that's badass. I loved that.
Just like screaming as he's like coming down and just wailing on someone right away, like with his axe. I was like, this dude is absolutely nuts. Like he's lost it completely. This dude does not care.
No.
Yeah.
And it sucks. We do say goodbye to a couple sand snakes here. We say goodbye to Obara and Nymeria. Euron kills one of them by impaling her on her own spear, and then strangles the other with her own whip. And though Tyene kills several Ironborn, she and Ilaria are overwhelmed ultimately, and Ilaria tells the Ironborn to kill them. Like, just go ahead, kill us. We don't want to go anywhere. And they're like, nah, nope.
No. Yeah,
we got plans for y'all.
Yeah, not part of the plan.
But Yara and Euron fighting with axes. As Yara's fleet burns in the night, Euron captures Yara and then goads to little Theon. Come save her, little Theon. We also get like one of my least favorite lines in the show from Euron during this, when he says, "Come on, give your uncle a kiss."
Yeah, he's just a little unhinged,
He's out there. It's so funny. But Theon is about to come to his little sister's aid, but panics when Euron's men begin mutilating the wounded sailors, reminding him of the tortures he suffered at Ramsay Bolton's hands. And we see Alfie Allen retreat from Theon back to Reek temporarily. And to Yara's dismay, Theon jumps overboard while Euron laughs with cruel glee. And watching that tear fall from Yara's eye down her cheek, like, dude, fucking magnificent.
Man, talk about just an amazingly lit scene. Like, I love that it's at night.
Gorgeous.
And like the fireballs flying over at first, and you see like the light actually like fly by them. But then like whenever just the ship's on fire and like Euron does have Yara there, like it's just all the fires lighting their face and everything. It's like, oh man, it looked nice. It looked really, really good. And I mean, a great, like we were talking about, kind of like an underwhelming into last episode a little bit. It's like, it was okay.
Like, ooh.
This one was like, holy fuck. We were like, holy shit. Like we thought, or I guess, we know what happens, but like at first viewing, you're like, yeah, they're just on their way to, where are they going? Just down to Dorne. Yeah, they're just going down to Dorne to get the Dornish army or whatever. And like, you're not even thinking like that Euron could meet them there. And then, this it does not go their way. I guess this is the gift that he promised Cersei here.
Yes,
here's the
he
scenario.
marches.
Mm-hmm.
He marches them through the streets of King's Landing and takes them to the Red Keep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a fairly, I mean, like, because if they were allowed to get to Dorne, like, King's Landing would have been under siege. So very, very good gift from Euron. Just happens.
Yeah, and unknowingly a great gift. I don't think he's necessarily like,
That's true.
I mean, I think they could estimate they're going to lay siege to King's Landing, but like,
I guess they thought it would have been the Dothraki and the
right, Unsullied.
Unsullied. Yeah, that's what they were thinking.
And you know, she's bringing the woman who killed her daughter and that woman's daughter to King's Landing. So, got an idea of the plans there.
Does she kill her the same way?
Yes, gives her a kiss and gives her a kiss with the poison on her lips and takes the antidote.
Oh,
they're like chained up on walls across from each other, so
right.
she has to like watch her die. Like they're gonna keep her alive so that she watches her daughter decay and everything. It's pretty incredible, pretty great idea.
Man, not one for
kind of playing on that,
but
never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, now I'm not all about torture and doing this to people, but when it's the show, when it's just a TV show.
Cersei's getting her revenge now. She's given everybody their comeuppance, to be sure. But that concluded the episode. How are we? I mean, I'm high on this one, man. Like I'm talking.
It was awesome. Is it
last week we gave it an 8? Probably not quite a 10, but
not there.
9.5, 9.75. Yeah, I'm there.
I think. Let's see. What are there some 9.5s that we give? The Book of the Stranger, episode 4 of last season. The Broken Man, episode 7 of last season, 9.5s.
I think it's right there.
Yeah, 9.75 would be Home, episode 2, the finale of season 5. Kill the Boy. I think 9.5 is probably more fair for this one. But I could see it going to 9.75. But I think it belongs.
We've got room to grow. I think it's cool here.
Okay. Man,
critically, I think it's on every bit that footing. It's one of the. It's way more visually appealing than the first episode was.
Incredibly more. Yeah, like just the boat battle, impressive as well. Like they're not actually fighting massive. They don't have those boats out in the sea. That's all just fake. There, I guess there are some sets. I do remember them building like some like parts of the boat and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure, but I mean, like we're not watching an actual naval battle.
Exactly, and even the scenes with Arya, like just focusing on like the faces this episode. Like Arya's face was very focused on. Ian Glenn's face focused on whenever he's in pain, going all through that. I feel like even the scenes in the North, like Jon in his, like just in that room. I don't know why. I think like I just love those scenes every time Jon is talking to the North. I love him just being a leader and seeing him like that. So, and written way better. It was paced very well. Like I was never bored in this episode at all. A lot of like little tear up moments as well.
No, I liked it. I think I'm there for a 9.5 as well. I think it's there.
The board. There we go. Yeah, 9.5s across the board. Let's see. Have we done that before? Is there just a 9.5 flat overall? Not last season. Not the season before. Wow. I guess kind of a rare. The Laws of Gods and Men, season 4, episode 6.
Oh,
the last 9.5. Tyrion's confession
trial. Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah.
That's high praise.
There we go. I like that. I don't know. It's like, again, like the biggest thing to happen would have been the naval battle. And then I guess Jon leaving. Arya going home. Actually, there's some very important things that do happen here.
That happens here. Yeah. It's a biggie, but it leaves me even more excited for the rest of season 7. We got off to an iffy start, but I think this one gives me a lot more hope for what's to come than weeks previous, or week previous. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Queen's Justice next week.
Ooh, well, I think that's a sign that those prisoners are delivered
Yeah,
back
they
to
are.
Cersei.
They indeed are.
But yeah, with that, we will conclude this episode of Winter is Blooming, and we'll be back next week with the Queen's Justice Season 7, Episode 3. I believe Jon will arrive in Dragonstone next week as well, so we got a lot to look forward to. But in the meantime, we will continue our comic book movie journey through film this Wednesday and Friday. And we got a couple episodes lined up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Last week brought us Iron Man 3 and The Dark Knight Rises. This week brings us, I don't recall. What is it?
Man of Steel and the Wolverine.
Oh, okay. Superman and Wolverine. I'll take it. We're going on it's a fun little streak we're on right now, so I'll take it.
Yeah. Down. I'm digging it.
But yeah, that's what we got cooking this week, and we'll be back next week with Winter is Blooming for Season 7, Episode 3. And with that, we'll conclude this episode. Head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including all sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and the like. For $3 a month, you can support this podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast, follow on Letterboxd @PennyBloomPod, and remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening and to continue to download. That is a huge help. I love it dearly. But yeah, with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And you're a dragon. Be a dragon.